one bucket at a time. Dig, 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 all day long. Dig, 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 while I sing this song. All right. Like if you looked really closely, could you tell? I don't know. But can we tell where it is? The idea is that it's perfectly concealed, so when you're in it and there's an enemy coming by, you're not going to be found. You can't even tell. Can't even tell it's there. Look it. Done. Well, good morning, guys. Today is a special day because it's a project that's close to my heart. I've always liked digging. So has Dawn. So today's project is we're going to build an authentic Japanese spider hole using some of the primitive tools that would have been used of the time, like a tiny little military grade shovel, some buckets, some old square timbers, stuff like that. And we're going to try to keep it as authentic as possible. Now let's get started. So we're been digging for about 20 minutes now. We're down about 2 feet, 2.5 feet. Our goal is about 5 feet before we start tunneling sideways. So the idea behind this thing is to not disturb the sides, because we don't want the sides to collapse. It really depends on the soil consistency you have in your location if you're going to decide to do this. If you're digging in very sandy soil, it has a tendency to calve off. That also goes with clay type soil. If it's very wet, it'll tend to want to collapse. So you gotta use your brain before you decide to do something like that. You know, if the soil conditions don't warrant, you know, a hole that's very deep, it's unsafe. So yeah, use your brain. So yeah, we're just tunneling right now. We're gonna go straight down, and then we're gonna go over sideways because we want to have a place to lay down in the bottom of this thing, because this is our Japanese spider hole. So we're just gonna keep digging, and I'll keep you guys updated. Yeah, we're into the clay layer, so it's a little bit harder to dig, but slowly but surely we're making it. We're making it. Don, what do you think? What do you think? The biggest problem right now?
Digging a hole.
Is that the biggest problem?
Pretty much.
Okay, the mosquitoes aren't our problem.
Well, the black flies and mosquitoes.
The black flies kind of kamikaze right to your eyeballs for some reason. It's just strange that they just kind of go for I think they go for the little white catch light in your eye. They just go right for it and they just jam themselves in your eye. But as long as you keep moving and you don't sweat so much and you don't breathe, mosquitoes don't bug you. All right, so as we figured it out, that our topsoil layer is about 6 inches here, and then we're down to some lighter clay. All right, as you guys can see, we're down a significant amount. We're probably about 3.5, 4 feet. Roughly, we've hit a gravel layer, which is really hard digging. We're not even getting full shovelfuls out anymore. But the idea is to get to about 6 feet deep, because what we want to be able to do is pop our heads out of the hole and then have your rifle, and you'll be able to, you know, pick off whoever's in the forest kind of hunting you. And then what you do is afterwards you pop yourself back in your hole, you pull your lid closed, and the people run by none the wiser. So this is we're trying to build an authentic Japanese spider hole. And so we got a little bit more work to do. We've got to go down, well, another 2.5, 3 feet, but it's in gravel, so hopefully we can make it. I'll let you guys know. I'll update you as things progress. As you can actually see the strata, you can see the topsoil layer, you can see the clay layer, and then we've got back into kind of like a sand layer, and now we're down into gravel layer. So hopefully the gravel layer will be easy digging. We won't hit a giant boulder or anything like that. Well, as you guys can see, I am not far enough in the ground. I'm standing flat foot in the bottom of the hole, and I've got to go another 3 feet deep in order for my head to just kind of pop out of the top. And then we dig horizontal, which is going to be a different beast altogether. So we still got a little bit more digging left to do. All right, Don, what are we running into down there?
Well, besides gravel, it's quite difficult to lift it because we don't have enough room.
You need a shorter shovel. Shorter shovel or a bigger hole?
Shorter shovel. Let's not go with a bigger hole just yet.
So I think this shovel here, this little army shovel guy, I think it can convert into a right angle. If you undo this, if you loosen that guy up, that's tightening. Loosen?
It's reverse.
Oh, is it reverse thread? I'm always try it one way, then try it the other. So the plant, if you,
I see. Okay.
And then go like that, and then tighten it. And I think this is an army shovel. So this was designed, I think, for taking stuff out of like tiny holes. So it's kind of
like a foxhole,
like a scoop. Let me see. So like there, you got a little scoop hole. So now you should be able to just kind of get in there and kind of give like a scoop. See, that worked pretty good. Repeat that a couple thousand times. Oh, look at that. There you go. I'm sure there's like a learning curve on that. Oh, I gotta give it a whirl. I have to try it in order to actually see.
It actually works pretty good.
Does it work pretty good?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I gotta have to give it a whirl just to make sure it passes the Kevin test. I know Don's got.
Oh, look at that! Look at that scoop.
Look at that! That's money all day long right there. Cool. All right, well, we're off to the races now. So as you guys know, we started off with the big shovels. Now, the Army wouldn't have had the luxury of having the large handled shovel. They would have had their kind of like pack shovel, which is like this small little Army shovel like this guy. So they would have pretty much exclusively dug their foxholes with these tiny little shovels. So we're switching back because I think this is the right tool for the job in order to get down inside and get the material out of a tiny little hole. Because we don't want a huge hole because, well, what's the point? It won't be able to conceal it in the woods. What's up, Doc? Bugs Bunny down here. Oh. All right, well, we're getting down there. I think any further we'll find the treasure to Oak Island. We've got some old shipwreck material down there, some wood, and some pieces of metal. No, I'm kidding. There was none of that down there. This is gravel. We're just down to a gravel bed. We got to get down another, well, it's always another foot, is it not? We're down about just under armpit height. We got to get down to about head height. And then we're going that away, slowly but surely getting through the gravel layer. The little shovels seem to be working, and then you just kind of work at it, get yourself a shovel, and then you hand it up to Don, and Don discards it over there, and rinse and repeat.
Sorry. Getting hard to pull it out now. Green leaf get there.
Where is it? Is there a green leaf in there?
Yeah.
Weird. On my shoe. You got it. Nice. How are you gonna get out now?
I have no idea. Where's the tractor?
Tractor, get the tractor. All right, well, that's pretty much an entire day of digging, and we've got about 5.5 feet deep to the lowest point of this hole. So that's pretty much as deep as I want to go at this down shaft, because what the plan is to ultimately is to go horizontal once we've got down far enough. We could probably go another foot. We may or may not do that tomorrow, but we're pretty much at the end of our day. We got to collect some more materials to sure up our horizontal shaft. So we need some shoring for the sides and then shoring for the top as well. So, but yeah, pretty good day. We got down 5.5 feet, which is a heck of a hole if you've got to hand dig it. Let's see how I can try to get out of this hole. I almost need stairs. Oh, there it is. Just kind of tuck and roll. That hole is a glorious hole. Oh. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for people that like to learn new things, new skills, or simply want to explore their creativity. Skillshare allows you to invest in yourself and your personal growth. Do you have a specific skill you're trying to learn? Skillshare is the perfect place to start, from photography and illustration to graphic design, freelancing, and more. You can find classes that will match your goals and interests. Interested in making a career pivot? Maybe up-leveling your skills in your current role? Skillshare is a great resource for freelancers and entrepreneurs to help you learn new skills to support your growing side hustle or launch into a totally new career. What's also great about Skillshare is that you can look at it on your phone. Maybe you got a little bit of downtime, or you're waiting for something else to happen. You can always learn on the go. So currently I'm exploring how to create a cohesive Instagram feed by Dale McManus, and he breaks it down step by step. They got 9 lessons. You got choose tile layout, choose a color scheme, choose a filter style to make a professional looking Instagram feed. My Instagram feed's all over the map, so I'm learning to make it better. What's also great about Skillshare is it's ad-free, so you can stay in the zone while you're learning new skills. There are new premium classes launched each week, so there's always something new to discover. Entire catalog is now available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. The first 1,000 people who use the link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. All right, so we're at the point now where we're going horizontal. Now I'm figuring in my head, I don't really want to put wooden supports up quite yet, because then they'll be in the road and I won't be able to dig. So what I'm going to do, just to be safe, is I'm not going to actually put myself underneath this face. So I'm going to dig as far as I can without actually putting my head under there. And then once I get to that point, I'm going to actually put some wood up here, so I'm never working under unsupported ground. And I think that'll keep me from this thing collapsing. But if you guys can see, there's about 2 feet of clay above me, which is really stable ground as long as it's not wet, which today it's not wet. So I think we're good to go. I'm just gonna keep digging.
It ain't much. As you can see, this is the face of the tunnel.
All right, guys, we're at the stage now where we're tunneling horizontally into the dirt over this area here. So we want to put a space around 6 feet long in order to comfortably lay down. Over the last couple of days, it has rained significantly, and we haven't experienced any sort of collapse down there, but that's not to say we're not going to start cribbing it. So the plan today is to take our cross members and put horizontal pieces and then some uprights on the side in order to stabilize our dirt above us, because the last thing we want to do is have dirt come down on us. The material I'm using for cribbing is old square cut timbers. Now the plan with those is to put a top horizontal piece that supports my ceiling and then 2 sides. My sides are a little bit long, so I have to cut them first in order to make them all the same size. My horizontal pieces already came that length, so that's kind of the width predetermined that way. So all I have to do is cut the sides, and then when I install them, they'll be even throughout the entire tunnel.
How's that for grace? That's perfect.
Oh, I'm in the bucket. We're in the hole. You guys see this? This is pretty cool. We've got the start of a hole. You can kind of see over here where we've got the entrance, which is pretty exciting because it feels like we're getting somewhere. We're gonna actually move around, sort of thing. You can kind of get the gist of where exactly we are. So we're gonna go this way about 6 feet, the face of the wall, and as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see up top there, it's the top of the hole. So as you can see, we're pretty deep. It's actually quite cool in here. It's actually it's unseasonably warm today, but it's actually quite nice down in the hole. So anyways, well, I'm gonna keep digging and see how far we get, because, well, talking, more digging, dig. While digging the spider hole, it was important for me to get into the mindset of a soldier. While most people loathe hard physical labor, soldiers would have long periods where there was little to no activity, so digging was something to keep their minds and bodies busy. Also, while under a threat of imminent attack, having a safe place to hide away from the enemy must have been something worth working for. A large amount of dirt is a great insulator from ground attacks as well as aerial attacks, but of course with this comes risk from grenades or from being surrounded by an enemy or pinned down for long periods of time. Conversely, escaping on foot and then ducking into a spider hole would provide concealment for long periods of time. These spider holes, while constructed simply with basic tools, once complete, are nearly invisible from the outside to the unsuspecting. All right, so what we're doing now is we're putting our cribbing in. So this guy, we've already kind of channeled this piece of 2x4 in, and then we have to channel out this section here in order to get it across there. So this guy is gonna go up there somehow. So we gotta chisel out some more of this here. And this is the easy digging, it's the clay layer. So that's the plan there. Dig that out like that. Go all the way across. Try to catch it in my bucket. shovel. My shovel's buried. Okay, so take this thing out. Top piece in. You kind of see we're almost there. We just gotta get a little bit more out of the top. And I think we want to have this relatively snug, actually supporting it. If it's not, what I want to do is actually tuck some more dirt under there. Let's see what we got for height. Our cross member. There we go. And on this side. There. Maybe what we'll do is we'll add some gravel underneath the feet. There. Perfect. That'll hold us up. All right. Now we gotta do that. Just carry on, moving down the tunnel. Let's go down in the hole. Oh, okay. I'll give you guys a little bit of an update here. So we've been digging a couple of hours now. We're at the stage of the game where we kind of need some auxiliary lighting. You can't really tell on camera, but if you look really closely, you can see that it's getting dark. So we got this little hanging light here. That's how far we've gone. We've gone got about 2 feet. 2 feet in with our cribbing. So we got to go down further that way, another 4 feet or something like that, in order to give us a nice kind of a bed area so we can hang out down here. So this is progress. You can see daylight up there, darkness over here. You can kind of see the clay layer and the gravel layer. So it's pretty darn nifty. It's actually quite cool. The mosquitoes have found their way down here, unfortunately, but they tend to, I think they're lazy. It's too cold, so they kind of, you can just squish them. Anyways, let's dig all day long. Dig while I sing this song. Oh. Well, hello, welcome to the office. I got the camera down here. I got her set up on a bucket so you guys can join in the adventure. This is the business end of the tunnel. So as you can see, we have our 4x4s at the top, and I've got my hood on because I don't like getting sand in my ear. I don't think anybody likes that. So the plan is to put some more cribbing at the top. So what Don does is he actually excavates he undermines the gravel part of it, and then I come in and actually I chip away at the clay part at the top in order to get our cross members in. So I'm gonna try to show you guys. All right. Putting in a cross member, because it's not the easiest thing to do, and it's really hard to film because there's not that much room in here when you're working. There'll be a lot more room in here when you're just kind of hanging out. So the plan is to chisel away at the top. If you can get it into the bucket, it's like double duty. You don't have to pick it up off the ground. So that's the plan. So there we go. Just like that. All right, let's. Yeah. All right, so we're at the point now where we're gonna put some cribbing in. So we've got the hole excavated about another 16 inches. So we've got some pieces we're gonna put in. You guys can't see much, it's getting really dark because we're further and further away from the entrance. So I don't know, I probably get some better light in here. Let's put this cribbing in and then I'll get a better light. All right. Should we give us a nice clear spot? Now I'm gonna take this 4x4 here, which is our cribbing for our top. Kind of get one side in. I got my little sledgehammer. There we go. That one there, we don't even need across or the uprights because it's sitting on the other one. We don't have to use, because these are actually 2x4 wood, actual old school 2x4 wood. So it's extra thick, so we don't have to go as many uprights. So anyways, that one there is in place. So we're friction fitting them, and then when it to hold them up, we're actually making the space shorter, and then we jam our side pieces in. So there you go. That's one more cribbing. That's another 4 inches of cribbing. I got some sand in my eye now. Ah! It's all good, right? Okay. I'm gonna get you guys out of my road because you're taking up like, 5 square feet over there. Whew. All right. More digging. Can we see what's going on in there? Holy moly, it's dark. There. So we're taking the face.
Look at that. Not bad, hey? Ever seen anything so graceful?
That was graceful. It was almost like you're on camera.
Yeah, I had to make a good impression.
That's right. So how is it down there?
It's dark. The digging's not bad, actually. It's getting better, I think.
I think we're getting used to it.
Yeah,
like
maybe that's
day
it.
4 of digging. It's crazy. All right, let's keep digging. I'm going in the hole now again. Let's 2 more buckets. 1 bucket at a time. We're making her further into the horizontal part. It's coming along. I'm very pleased with how it's coming. More buckets. It's easy for us who live in modern times to forget what it was like for our veterans fighting to keep us free. Freedom, stability, democracy are all things that are historically rare. Being ruled by dictators and tyrants is sadly very common. Being free to decide where we want to work, to have regular food on the table, to be able to move around freely and decide what we want to do with our body is something worth protecting. It would be remiss for me to not take the time right now to thank all the brave men and women in our armed forces who continue to keep us safe from the world's dictators. Without them, our great nation wouldn't exist, and in absence of their bravery, we'd be nothing but slaves serving someone else's desires. So I would like to take the time to thank everyone who has fought for our democratic nations who today continue to do so. Democracy is fragile and demands that it will be protected and that all people have a voice, so that all people may have the right to freedom of expression, religion, and bodily autonomy, and ultimately protection of the individual. We are all born free, but freedom is never free. I don't know if you can actually see this, if it's wide enough to actually see what I'm doing here, but so I'm at you guys are in the actual unsupported area of the tunnel, and I am underneath the supported area of the tunnel. So the plan is to put the horizontal pieces up and the side cribbing to hold us from collapsing. So this is how it's been going the whole time, is kind of like 4 inches at a time, where I kind of chip away the ceiling in order to get us space for the horizontal piece. I don't know if you guys can actually see that or not. And then what I do, I get my horizontal piece here and I put it up, kind of friction fit it in. A little bit on this side. I stick them on one side, and I stick them on the other side, and then hammer them in place in order to kind of give it some support. And then you rinse and repeat through the entire process. All right, update time. We're in the hole. What do you think, Don?
It's pretty neat, isn't it?
Where?
Look at the stone I just got.
That's a big rock. You're gonna put that on your mantle at home. That's a big. That was in the floor. That's they're not good sleeping quarters. So what we're working on now is the smoothing out the floor, because this is the bedding area, and we don't want large rocks there. So that's kind of the length of our tunnel has been completed, which is kind of cool. As you can see, it's not the largest of tunnels, but it is my tunnel. So what do you think? You got 2 people in here. Like, worst case scenario,
yeah,
you could have
cozy.
2. Yeah, you could have one guy up the spider hole, you know, defending the hole, and the other guy kind of napping. Yeah, one guy on watch, one guy in the hole relaxing. Yeah, so this is, you can kind of see our cribbing at the top, very secure. We're in I'm in about 6 feet into the hole near the back of it. But it is very cozy. It's a very cozy hole. We use square timbers in order to hide the hole. So we laid out loosely the dimensions of the hole using the square timbers, and then we tacked on another piece of wood to the side to hold them all together. And then we proceeded to cut a smaller access hole in the middle of it, which we can remove, pop on and off in order to gain access to the spider hole. We then recessed the hatch by digging out some of the dirt in order for the hatch to be level with ground, grade level. And then we took all our pine needles that we pulled back and we respread them around the access hole in order to conceal it even further. So now what you have left is a very concealed hidey hole. So if you want to get into it, you kind of have to look for it. There's no real distinctive markings on where exactly it is. So I think it's a success. All right, guys, I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour. Now, can you see it? Can you see it in there? Can you see it? Is it over here? Is it over here? I can't tell, really. Can you guys tell? Well, you guys know it's here because you've got to watch the entire build process. But can we tell where it is? Like, if you looked really closely, could you tell? I don't know. I know where it is because I can kind of see the handle, but you guys probably can't see it because it's very concealed. So the idea is that it's perfectly concealed, so when you're in it and there's an enemy coming by, you're not going to be found. You're hiding in your spider hole. So have a look. So here I'm standing on the hatch, I think, and I can see the latch. So if I were to want it to get in this thing, you find your latch and take a look at this. There. That is the hidey hole. So you just creep on in down there and you're perfectly concealed. I think this is a perfect success. Like this is more than I hoped for. It's like the best hidey hole ever. If you were playing hide and seek with somebody in this forest, they're never gonna find you. You can't even tell. Can't even tell it's there. Look it. Done.
Rolling.
Well, guys, I think this is as good a time as any to give this thing a try out. It's sky's kind of opened up. It's started to rain a little bit, and I figured this is probably worst case scenario for this sort of situation where it's raining and you're in an underground fort. So I brought some items that are sort of authentic military gear. Sort of, I don't know if it's standard issue, but this was sent to my brother by a person in the military. So this is, I don't exactly know the name of this thing, but it's a little tiny camping stove. So as you can see, it's about the size of a deck of cards, and it's got a couple of rivets on the sides. And what happens is you take this thing and you slide it open. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but and then what it does is it turns into, come on, I can't. It's about as hard for you guys to see it as it is for me. So this little guy slides out and it turns into a little table. So that there, and it comes with fuel source with these little pucks. And I don't exactly know what the little pucks are, but there's some sort of fuel source. I don't know if you guys want to leave a comment down there. I don't know what the pucks are. You can light them with a match, and they sit on top of this little guy here, and then your can goes on top of here, essentially giving you a little cook surface. So you can cook a can of beans, or well, anything that you can fit on this little table, which is really cool. So that little guy there is my cook stove. You see that? I apologize for the lighting in here. It's kind of dim. So anyways, that's the cook surface there. I'm gonna fold her back up. Actually, I'll just leave that thing over there. So I got some other goodies. So then you got your knife and your fork. Little guy you can fit in your pocket. Again, little tiny stuff. So like the creature comforts that would be useful in an emergency situation, you know, just to kind of give you that sense of home. So you have your cook surface, you have your eating utensils, and then where's my other guy? Oh, the little guy. So now I didn't actually open this guy up because it's kind of delicate. So this little thing could fit in your other pocket. So what it is a cup, a foldable cup. The idea is to get it deployed there. So there is a little cup, so you can fill that with your coffee or your water or whatever, and it folds down into a little, see, watch. So that guy there can fit inside your pocket. So that's pretty cool. So there's the cup. There's some water, my coffee cup. It works pretty good. It's got a little bit of leak. I probably didn't do it right. I think in a pinch you would be happy to have that cup. Maybe I gotta twist it or something. There we go. I think what I had to do was really push the bottom of the cup in order to get it to stop leaking. So you can see, just to prove to you, I got water in it. You gotta push the bottom of the cup. Hold the side, push the bottom of the cup tight, and then it stays watertight. There you go. So that's a little cup, and it's neat because it folds down. It folds down, and it goes in your pocket. That's pretty neat. I guess I should mention my coffee cup. It's got a little carabiner on here, so you can clip it onto your jacket, and you can have your water, your coffee cup, just like that. So it's just kind of, you know, if you don't have your foldable cup, you can have your clip-on cup. So I brought some other fuel sources down here. So this is military grade, military issue. It says on here, I can't even pronounce it. Fuel gel diethylene glycol. So this is a fuel pack. It's designed to be lit with a match, and then it's a fuel source. So you got a lot of BTU in this pack here, so you guys can see that. Can you see that? Yeah. So that there, in an emergency situation, is good to have a fuel source backup, BTUs for cooking and whatnot. So there, I got a couple of those, and those will be good for pretty much ever. So you could store them down here if you wanted to, you know, bug out here and you had to hide for an extended period of time. You can have your cooking source. You could probably cook right in the hole. You know, as long as you kept the lid cracked a little bit, it would cycle the air around and allow you to cook right down in the hole, and there's no smoke, which is would give away your position. And then there's worst case scenario: you get wounded and you need some first aid. We got the 6-inch wound dressing hemorrhage bandage. It comes vacuum packed, so you don't want to open that unless you really need it, but it's here, it's sterile. It allows you to wrap up any wounds or gashes you might have. Kind of first aid. So yeah, this is made in Israel, which is kind of cool. What else have I got here? This is emergency fire starter. Got my flint, which is right there. And then my metal, for striking. Why won't it go? Light myself on fire. Oh, there it goes. See it? I prefer matches or a torch, but there. So that, see the fire starter in there. So in a pinch and you need to start a fire, that guy is there. If you don't have any matches or anything like that, that can start your fire for your cooking. And then if you're down here for an extended period of time, you got your beans, and you know, you want to freshen up a little bit. I've got the old school straight razor, so you can shave down here. Old school, got a little bit of a whalebone on that thing. So there we go. I guess it could be used as a weapon as well. Packed myself my dinner. I got a can of beans, because I imagine that's kind of the rations you'd have, you know, during wartime. I've got a little primitive cooker I'm going to cook it on, and then I'm going to crawl into my Japanese spider hole and have a little nap. I am kind of tired because it was a long day of digging and constructing, so I just figured get some food in my belly and go lay down, because yeah, I don't know how long the rain's gonna last. Hopefully it doesn't rain all night and wake up floating or something like that. That would be no good. So yeah, let's gonna give this thing a, this is what I got. This is like my little cooking thing with my fuel pellets. That would be like army issue. So that's the thing, goes like this, and your can goes on top and allows you tiny little fire, kind of very inconspicuous. So we're gonna give that a whirl. That actually worked pretty slick. You can see my little cooking fire. So as you can see, it's not drawing much attention at all. I got my beans here. I'm just gonna heat them up. Open my can. It's better if you leave the lid on because it keeps the heat inside. So you just put that on top. I'm pretty impressed with that little stove. It's actually got little bubbles coming out of that thing. That thing, I can't even touch the can. It's that hot. It's bubbling. I think it's done. I don't want much hotter than that because I have to carry it down into my bunker. So I don't know, how do you put this thing out? I think you just let it burn out because yeah, it's got that little fuel. Ooh, she's hot. Anyways, I'm gonna get that sorted, crawl into the spider hole, and turn out the lights for the night. Just gonna crawl down there, set up my bed, because it's getting dark, so I don't know if I can fit down here with my jacket on. I feel like I can fit. Just ever so suck it in there. All right, there we go. Look at the bottom. Got my beans. All right, see you guys in the hole. All right, welcome to the inside of the spider hole. So I gotta get situated here because it's not exactly the most accommodating place with the camera. Anyways, it's dry. Report that. It's perfectly dry. It's actually quite comfortable. It's really humid outside, so in here it's actually not as humid, which is surprising. And it's really quiet. Guess because we're kind of underground. Anyways, I'm gonna grab my spoon so I can eat my beans. They're getting cold. I'm gonna set you guys up. Oh, they're perfect. I'd imagine this would be like a welcome meal if you were under attack and you were like, you know, cozy at home in your little hole, safe from the enemy, having your beans. This can is still crazy hot. Ow. These are really good. Bush's best beans. I can't remember the last time I've had a can of beans. It's surprisingly cozy. Although I can hear a couple of mosquitoes that came in. That's all I can hear is mosquitoes. There's no other sounds but the buzz of mosquitoes. I'll have to get those things before I go to bed. I have to give you guys a little bit of a tour down here. I've got a little lantern off to the side there. It's pretty much giving me most of the light. And we ended up digging a kind of like a sinkhole right at the door, and it's kind of like a cold trap. And what that does is any kind of cold air that comes in from the hatch will sink down into that hole, kind of keeping yourself a little bit warmer up on this level here where we're laying. So that's the with the cold thing. And also it you know, in the event, just like you get a fuzz on you, in the event of a grenade, say, attack and it came in, you can throw it inside the hole and it offers somewhat of protection. From what I've read anyways, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to this. There is we did punch some air holes into the lid itself, so there's oxygen that's coming down, because that's something you want to be conscious of, because you are in a relatively enclosed space. You don't want to be burning any sort of, well, anything. You don't want to be lighting candles or anything like that. If you know, required to, you'd probably want to use them sparingly. But if you had some sort of chemical lighting, like a glow stick, or even yeah, pretty much that, or like battery lamp, because they didn't have them back then. But yeah, for a guy that doesn't like noise, this is like the perfect spot once I get rid of those mosquitoes. What I was thinking of doing is maybe carving a kind of like a little shelf on this back wall, because I want a shelf. Put a little candle up there. I know I said no candles, but I think what'll happen is anything will come up and kind of go out the vent hole. So I think I should be okay. So if I carve a little shelf in the wall, you guys see that little shelf? It's kind of hard to see. And my matches and my little tea light. can actually see the smoke going up out. Perfect. My little tea light. Great. There we go. Take a look at that. It's already more homey in here. My glowy wall. It's kind of like a little lantern on the wall. So as you guys can see, I'm in the far end of the horizontal space. This back wall is still actually clay. So it's got clay and it's got the gravel. You can see the gravel layer down there. So that's all clay. And then you got the candle. So my walls are made out of hemlock, squared up hemlock timber, so they're very water resistant. It's kind of like cedar, but it's more durable. Hemlock they used to build docks, so it's really good at being underground. So this will last a really long time. And the fact that there's not a lot of moisture down here, that'll make it last a really long time. It's also got a gravel bed, so it drains really well. That's kind of what my sleeping arrangement's on. So I have a wool blanket underneath, which is sitting on gravel. So there's not a lot of moisture coming up from the ground. If it was on clay, that'd be another story. You'd kind of be wicking up the moisture from the ground. Hopefully get some rest once I kill all the mosquitoes. Yeah, I will see you guys in the morning. Oh, that was a terrible sleep. I ended up kind of putting my jacket back on and my raincoat and actually sticking my head underneath there because I don't know, the mosquitoes just keep coming in. It's crazy, and they're just incessantly buzzing. I had a terrible sleep, so and now I've got to get out of this hole. And well, I don't know if I can. If you're watching this video, I got out of the hole. You can like, it's just daybreak, just barely daybreak. I don't know what time it is. It's probably like 5 in the morning or something. What time does the sun come up? I don't even know. I gotta stop yawning. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this guy up. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and join me on the next one.